Okay, we have Endeavorgaming, or aka Iffy, for the Hyperdimension Neptunia victory. I will be putting it on to him right now. We can get going. We're an hour ahead, an hour or two ahead because of my run, so we got a lot of time. So, Endeavor, you can take over and I will put your audio up once you give me a countdown.
Alright. Well, don't worry, we will just make this a super casual run, Kappa. Well, hello everybody. This won't be the most exciting run, but I hope you're excited for finally something a little different. Something in the old school way. We'll have the same setup basically as ZFresh. Broken over level characters. Sadly, we won't have no DLC. DLC in this game makes a humongous difference due to this game's very poor balancing and extremely tough foes, even with the level 99 characters and the best in-game weapons and armor. If you don't route out perfectly, you can still die or nearly die to some of the Chapter 9 and Chapter 10 bosses. But with the DLC weapons, it really just multiplies all of your stats by many fold. So we don't have the luxury of that. So basically, this run will just be me one-shotting things up to a certain point and skipping a bunch of cutscenes. I'll try to explain like the story of this game in a way and what I'm doing. I'll try. I may succeed. I may fail. We'll see. I hope everyone's ready for a good time. But I am getting ready. I will.
You can count me down when you're ready.
It won't really be a countdown. It will just be as soon as this loading bar is done and I hit X. So basically, just start the timer when I say go. Okay. I don't remember the countdown to this game here.
Yeah, whenever.
Go. To this game here. Go. Yeah, that loading bar is random on how long it wants to take, so you really can't do a countdown there. Alright, right away, this fight is supposed to be a forced loss, but thankfully, even without DLC, we can two-shot these guys with that Ranger Summon, which is Neptune's biggest AoE attack. The CPUs get 2 turns each about 90% of the time, but 10% of the time, somehow, Bert won't do the skill that slows you down, and they'll all get 1 turn each. We didn't get that. We got the 2 turns. But yeah. We should have game audio. Let's chat here, game audio. Audio. Let me do this. Although ZFresh may be heard twice.
No,
well, they'll hear you now if they couldn't before. Alright, if it's not working then, it should be working now.
I am the voice of reason.
Alright. We are now in part of what's called the RNG quest. We have 5 quests in this game.
Oh god, they can actually, it's working now.
All of them are RNG. This one can be done in either 2 or 3 tries. And do we get perfect RNG right off the bat? No, we don't. Alright, we are 0 for 1 on the perfect RNG. The first spawn always has 2 doggoos. The second one either has 2 or 3. Alright, right now, we're at peace after the end of the events of Mark II. Neptune's really lazy. Istrar and wants Neptune to learn how to be a good goddess, so she's going to go visit all these nations here. It don't really help her too much because Vert's lazy on playing her MMOs. So Neptune really doesn't get anything here. So we're going to go to Blonde to get some tips. But then her sisters pop out of nowhere and wants to play, and Ram tackles Neptune. So all this distraction, we don't really learn anything from Blonde either. Alright, so, you know, third try's a charm, right? We can go to Noir. She's the hardest working of all of them. Will she be able to teach? I don't exactly remember how, but no, we in fact do not learn anything from Noir either. I think it's because Noir is just so busy, she's in her office. I could be wrong. It has been quite a few years since I've done the story of this game. But either way, Neptune doesn't learn anything. We come back, we learn that there's somebody on the streets passing out papers saying no more goddesses. Let us govern ourselves. So we're going to go see what that's about. This dungeon's just basically dodge every enemy forehead, the dungeon. It's easy enough, but there are one or two enemies that can trick you up if you're not paying attention. Pretty much any enemy that's a machine has some of the biggest range of sight. That's where we get to meet Ray Wrights. So if we have any Ray Wrights enthusiasts in the chat, there you go. Anyway, we handled that situation, scared her back to wherever she lives, and then now we're back home. Neptune's going to be lazy again. Then we see Ray by herself.
You gotta change the Japanese endeavor whenever you get a chance.
I didn't have that as part of my incentives.
It's an ongoing language war.
Fine, you win. But she meets a mysterious little character. Who is that? We'll never know, but it definitely does something to her. So Neptune gets forced by Nepgear to go out and do some dang work. So she does, and this is what happens when you finally send Neptune out by herself to do some dang work. She gets sucked into another dimension. Maybe Nepgear will finally learn to not leave Neptune by herself. This is where we start the inside joke of everybody falling out of the sky and landing on Noir. And we finally get to meet Plutia. Do we have any Plutia enthusiasts in the chat? Raise your hand. I, for one, think she's alright, and this game was made better with her. But a lot of people don't think that way. But anyway, we get sucked into a different dimension. We see a new character. We see a different version of Noir. In reality, we got into the Ultra Dimension, which is a past variation of the Hyperdimension. Noir is the PlayStation 1 Noir. Now it's time to do equipment. Alright, we do equipment in a specific way here. We want Plutia to go first for the whole game. Alright, now we gotta show our worth in this dimension. We can't transform. We don't know why yet, but we can still try to show our worths without the transformation. This time, the first one can be 2 or 3, and the second one can be 2 or 3. We saw 2, meaning that's not good. We are now with a 50-50 chance of getting perfect RNG, and we got it. We are 1-1 with good perfect RNG quests. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the only quest in the game to give us perfect RNG. All right, we're back. We proved our worth. Now it's time to do a bunch of cutscenes and turning in items. This is New Game Plus, so we already have all the fetch quest items. We don't have to do any of them. That was the first one. Now we're going to do another one, then go to the Basilicom. Then after the Basilicom, we go do another one, and then we activate the end game of Chapter 1. I wish we could just activate the actual end game from Chapter 1, but we ain't found the wrong warp in the NEP yet, sadly. Gathunk, gathunk, gathunk. The first of the 7 sages, which is the bad guy group of this game. Omnis. If you're an Omnis enjoyer, just don't mention it in the chat. You will slightly be judged. Well, we get to meet the best version of Istwar ever created. And you just can't tell me otherwise. Team Mini Istwar for the win forever and always. She is this dimension's oh my god. The person who looks over Neptunia with Plutia. I'm brain farting on that word right now, but yeah, she's this dimension version. And ain't she just so cute? In the shadows there, we get to see a few more of the 7 sages. You might have recognized 1 or 2 of them if you played at least one Neptunia game in your life. Noir decides she wants to go off by herself to train. Neptune and Pluto are like, nah fam, we're gonna follow you. Kangaroo no yoni. Alright, now one difference in New Game and New Game Plus is you wouldn't be able to make that jump because in New Game Plus we have the jumping star, which makes us go higher. That's the length of this dungeon down 33%. Down to just like 2/3 of its size. Alright, easy dungeon to navigate. Oh no, we have ran into R4 and Pirachu. And yes, it's Pirachu. Even in the Rebirth games, in my heart, it's still Pirachu. Here's another normally unwinnable fight. But we can one-shot her if we get attack her from the side or behind. She does survive one shot if you attack her from the front. Fun little fact, even level 99 with the best weapon in the game cannot one-shot that boss without doing the bonus damage attacking on the side and back does. And who's ready for the unskippable CG of everyone's favorite goddess? Post your iris grins in the chat. Now we get another unskippable but shorter cutscene of Noir and Neptune transforming in this dimension for the first time. Both are really good CGs, in my opinion. The CGs in this game are just top-notch. The CGs in the PS3 trilogy are just top-notch. Alright, now, Iris Heart's on our team. R4 melts. It's not even a choice. She just melts. Alright, fan service. I hope you guys like fan service. Fan service in my Neptunia game? You don't see this often nowadays. And it won't be the first, and it won't be the last time you see it either. Brav's Rebirth 3 Platinum Run will feature that CG. It'll feature all these CGs. Except for the ones that the PC version will just give a black screen over because the PC version's a really good port. Anywho, we're starting chapter 2. Noir's finally a goddess, so she goes make her own nation. We all know what it's called, but Noir and Plutia are still very lazy goddesses, so this dimension's version of Ishtar goes tell them. Let Noir teach you how to be a good goddess. Well, we know how that worked out in Hyperdimension, so we're gonna go learn how to be a good goddess. And we're gonna feature the very first little trick of the run here. In New Game Plus, we have items we're not supposed to have yet called the eject buttons. They let you leave a dungeon whenever you want. But on any dungeon that connects two countries together, where there's a dungeon on one country and the same exact dungeon in the other country, you go to the second half and eject out right away. That is a unique spot for that enemy there. Then you don't have to walk the second half of this dungeon. You skip everything. It's good. Yet again, we have Iris Heart and a little mini boss here, so just melt mini boss, get out of my sight. Then it's slightly faster if we do it fast enough to eject out from here than to walk a few steps forward. Now we're in this dimension's last station. This dimension's version of last station is a sucker for Plutia. They are really good friends. Noir really can't say no to her, and Plutia is somewhat, like, also being has taken to Neptune quite a lot. So these two form a formidable team to get Noir to say yes to anything. So she spills her biggest secret, which is the biggest BS thing ever done to Neptunia history. The scouting system. Everybody point your finger and blame Noir for the worst thing in Neptunia history. She is the one who invented it. And she's proud of it too. But after that, we go back home. We tell Ishtar that we learned something, but Ishtar is like, but did you learn how to be good goddesses? And Neptune, Plutia is like, no. Then get back over there! So they go back over here in a panic. Please teach us, Noir. Okay, fine. I can't say no to you, Plutia. Right. What we're supposed to do is we're supposed to accept a quest, go to a dungeon, complete the fetch quest by killing enemies until we get drops. But it's New Game Plus. We don't do that. We just accept the quest, turn it in. Though we are still forced to go to the dungeon to get a cutscene. We cannot advance the game until we see this cutscene here. But as soon as we see this cutscene, it's adios amigos. After we get back here, we're learning that Louis is being manipulated. Like, we don't know yet, but it's very easy to tell from the characters talking to her there, including Abnus, that Blonde is being a little manipulated. I swear I can talk. And we're about to learn the consequences of those actions. We're about to have a face-off between two goddesses. And it's definitely in my top 5 CGs in Neptunia. That cutscene right there was basically Noir being told by her soldier that somebody has infiltrated the station. Noir's like, oh hell no. So we're going to Kanguru no Yoni our way to this cutscene here. By getting her to say it 5 times in a row. Oh yeah, she didn't want to say it a 6th time. Like, I don't know what it is, but this is just one of the best CGs in my opinion. They're facing off, and then you have Plutia and Neptune in the background thinking they're hiding behind a tree. The old comedy routine. Alright. They're in the middle of their face-off, and then another last station soldier shows up and says, "Man, we've been infiltrated by someone else!" And Noir's like, "What the heck? I'll leave you to your own devices, Blonde. Let me go do this." So we're going to do this. We're going to get the bit to go that way, so we go around this way. This is what I call the granny method. It's the safe way to get through here without an encounter. You can just go right through the bit and the other machine monster, but it is decently hard to dodge an encounter that way. But it does save like 2 or 3 seconds. But Granny strats if it gets rid of an encounter. Alright, we're about to find another member of the 7 Sages. This guy is the best. If you played Victory or Rebirth 3, you may agree, Copy-Paste is an amazing boss. But don't forget, we're Iris Heart. Copy-Paste is melting in one shot. But starting next chapter, nothing will die, or no main boss will die in one shot anymore, starting next chapter. Alright, now that that really difficult fight was over with, we're all just gonna be like, yo, thank you for teaching us stuff. Goodbye, Noir. I know you probably wanted us to hang out some more after we saved your city, but I'm tired. You gotta feel bad for Noir. We go back and Noir still realizes we ain't learned anything. But gets interrupted by a phone call of Hyperdimension Histoire. So she can't stay mad. Alright, going into chapter 3. Noir is just so upset about all the people invading her country. She's just talking about it, non-stop talking about it. She won't talk about anything else. Plutia's getting fed up. Plutia is about to transform and do some really bad things to Noir to get her to shut up. Use your imagination to figure out what she does to Noir to turn her into a robot for a few moments, at least until we get done with this quest here. This quest is just to go onto Lestation side of this dungeon here and defeat an ancient dragon.
どんな相手でも私が負けるはずないもんね。
Alright, now that quest is over, Moira goes back to her senses. We get interrupted by Abnus again. For some reason. But anyway, now we're going to Louis. Moira wants to show Blonde, who's boss, for invading the last station. And we're about to see pretty much a couple more uses of the eject button strat. That's its name. It doesn't have anything more creative. It's just called the eject button strat. At this point, we're still not technically supposed to have the eject buttons. But if you use the scouting system and unlock one of the true end cutscene dungeons, because in this game you have to, there are, I think 7 or 8, it's been a while, dungeons that you have to unlock and get cutscenes from in order to do the true ending. And one of them, the second half of the dungeon has eject buttons. So if you go through all that trouble, technically you can have them here. But if you're on new game, it won't save as much time as we'll lose getting them. Anywho, we got to the second half of that dungeon. Eject out, go back in, and now we're here. This eject strat only saves like 2, 3, maybe even 4 seconds. It's not as big as the first one. I forget the name of the dungeon. It's the dungeon that's in Neptune. So if you've done the True End for Victory, you may know the name of it. But it's been ages since I've done the True End. Alright, but anyway, we arrived in Louis. Now we're meeting like another goddess. Like, who is this guy? Neptune knows, but none of the other goddesses know. And when Neptune's about to tell her identity to everybody, she's like, "Shush!" Neptune's like, "Oh, okay, I get it." And now on our way to meet up with Blonde, we do I guess you can call it a maze in this game. There's a lot of like wrong turns and places to get lost, but it's not too bad to learn the one straight shot to the end. It also has a really good song, so we'll get to hear this for a minute or two, which is better than most songs in this game. Most of those we interrupt really quickly. That bit was in an unfortunate spot. Basically dodge enemies and don't forget where to go. I jumped ahead to the second time we entered this maze. Alright. If you're a Lady Whiteheart enjoyer, cover your eyes. We're about to one-shot her. I am a Lady Whiteheart enjoyer, so I just can't bear witness to this atrocity we're about to do. Whiteheart still being led to believe that we're the bad guys, but we're about to knock her out to show her we're not bad guys, because that makes sense. I can't look.
この程度の相手に悔しい。
So how that was a good idea is, as soon as Whiteheart's down, the 7 sages finally showed themselves as bad guys, including Mr. Bad. A male character in my Neptunia game. Wow. Now we're all in prison. Blonde is in a Great Depression. How do we get her out of it? Ludia transforming, of course. Then conveniently, we get rescued by Barrett. Conveniently. Alright. So we get one last eject strat. And this one is another one that only saves a handful or less seconds. We are forced to watch the... Oh wow, I didn't even see that guy. Holy crap. Wow. But yeah, we are forced to watch this cutscene here. We can eject at the very start, but as we gain control of the character, but the cutscene to end the chapter will not be there until we've watched this one. So the developers made sure that we could not skip any of the cutscene. It would save a minute or so if we could just skip that cutscene marker. But Sag, we can't. Real life had me mute my mic for a second there. But yeah, that second half of the maze was a little shorter. We only had to dodge the big robot spider thing, which can be in your way. It's rare, but it can be in your way. But now we're here at Mr. Bad. The very first boss that can't be one-shot. Actually, I think my memory might be wrong. Oh, yeah, I did remember wrong. He's the first one who can't be one-shot with your top skill. It's a good thing I remembered that before I attacked with the top skill. Whew. Sorry guys, I'm slowly remembering this game. I would have lost a lot of time if I attacked with just the top skill. But yeah, you're forced to use Fighting Viper 2 on him. But after that, Blonde is now on our side. We're all good to go. Chapter 3 done. Get your predictions in, because at the very start of Chapter 4, we have our third RNG quest with 3 different outcomes. The best RNG, 3 fights. The middle RNG, 4 fights. Or the worst RNG, 5 fights. Get your predictions in the chat now. How many fights it will take to get 5 skeletons. The winners will receive a grats from me. And this is also the chapter that introduces Baby, IF, Compa, and Pishi. But we don't know who Pishi is yet. She's a new character to this game. Another new one. We have to go right back to the first maze of Louis. We have a guess for every choice. That means somebody's going to win. If we see 3 here, or I mean 2 here, or at any point, that means seeing 1 there. The best we can get is the middle RNG. But if... Wait. No. If we see 1 more than once, that means the best we can get is middle RNG. We saw 2 there, so that means 5 is off the table. Alright, whoever guessed 4 fights, congrats. Subrosian. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Not the best, not the worst. Right in the middle. Stop eating my inputs, please. Alright, we turn all that in. We're about to have a really sad moment here. I finally found a way to get Neptune back and to Hyperdimension. Everyone's sad. They're all saying their goodbyes. Neptune is really sad. And then... who comes along to ruin this entire moment? Why? I'll wait. None other than Nep Jr., of course. So now they can't send Neptune back to the Hyperdimension. The game is prolonged. So this game not ending after 35 minutes on a New Game Plus speedrun. Thank Nep Gear for that. But now, after all this, we have to go investigate the country of the new goddess that we discovered during Chapter 3. We gotta go investigate this Vert person. So all the squad, we have to go to a Station Gigo main entrance. Now this is a dungeon that can trick you with the knowledge of the eject strats. This dungeon sends you to another country, and when you leave, you're spawned in that country, but the dungeon is not in Lean Box. Therefore, the eject strats will not work in this dungeon, because it sends you to Lean Box, but there is not a dungeon on this other side. So sadly, we cannot use the eject strat here. We have to go all the way to the end. If we use the eject button at any time, even in the second half, we will be sent back to La Station. Now we're about to see the hermit in her natural habitat. All the yaoi posters, all the men figures, and video game sound effects. Bert teasing Blonde about her small chest. Yep, they're the exact same as the Hyperdimension counterparts. But after that, we run away before a fight breaks out. We go back home. I forgot to mention that after Nepgear got sent here, she was forced to take care of the kids while we left, and now she's all depressed because she thought that Neptune didn't care about her coming back. So this cutscene's Neptune cheering Nepgear up. We have her back on our team. So what better way to introduce her to our team than hunting a robot? If you know Nepgear's personality, then you know. Gotta go to the Cruiserette factory and destroy one of those spider robot. The spide bots. And by destroy, I mean melt. One shot. Ludia, you guys have the point by now. Now that that's done, we're back, and Bert will somehow find her way into this Basilicom and tick off Blonde again. Bert, well, she also gets mad by Blonde, and then Blonde gets mad by her. A brawl is about to ensue, but then she's like, you know what, come to Lean Box. 1v1, no items, final destination, Fox only. And everybody's like, bet. So now we go back to the Lean Box, we go to the Halo Forest. We go say hi to Verse again. Kangaroo no Yoni. I don't listen to the Japanese voices too much, but it's hard to beat the Kangaroo no Yoni. You have to be careful of that wolf enemy, because if you get seen by him before you enter this marker, he will attack you after you get done with this fight, and there's hardly anything you can do about it. Alright, so Nepgear gets transformed, because in this dimension you need an item to transform. That's how Neptune and Noir couldn't do it at the start. But it was Vert who lured us here to get Neptune to transform, so Neptune, or Vert, has Nepgear on her side. Like, I helped you, now you help me. So that's why this is going to be all of us versus Nepgear and Greenheart fight. And by all of us, I mean we're just going to melt, as always, both of them, with Iris Heart. Because they're not the main bosses of this chapter. Now, from here on out, to my knowledge, there's not many bosses left that will be one-shot with the top skill. We're also going to get to the part where even Fighting Viper 2 won't be enough to one-shot. And fan service for you Vert lovers out there. Where's Marin when you need him? Now we're all getting along again. A Lean Box soldier appears and be like, yo, you've been invaded, Greenheart. Where have we seen this before? It couldn't be the Seven Sages again, could it? And it definitely is the Seven Sages again. We have a visit from Copy Paste in R4. Copy Paste will need Fighting Viper 2, and I think that's enough to one-shot him. I'm gonna be safe and I'm gonna attack him from behind. And then R4 is R4, she dies to one top skill from Noir. Alright, Now that that's over, the invasion's over. All the 4 goddesses are together now. We're going to get a very special CG that I believe was removed in Rebirth 3. Because at least during New Game Plus, I don't think it's in Rebirth 3. I could be wrong, but my memory's telling me it's not in that game. We get this very special CG here of all 4 goddesses together. It has to scroll down, then back up, and then down. We are forced to watch it scroll down, up, and then down. Before we get to the in-between chapters thing, Nep Station. It's probably why it was removed. If I'm remembering right. Alright, so we are doing good end. What that implies is we have to get 5 items for that new character we were introduced to in Chapter 4. We gotta get 5 items for Pishi to unlock her memory in Chapter 8. And in this chapter, you normally have to go to the Basilicom, get 2 items, go do a thing, and then come back for 1 item. But we can just we're going to go do that thing first and come back and get all 3 in a row. Right now, all nations' CPUs are being called, being like, we're all invaded. Who will be invading them? Chat, get your guesses in now. Is it the 7 Sages again? So we go to Lean Box first. I mean, it don't really matter who you do first in New Game Plus. But we do this because I've done it since 2015, so why not? Just keep on doing Lean Box first. Fun fact for the PS3 with HDD hard drive. If you have one of the DLC characters in your team, that black screen before the bug loads lasts 20 seconds. This game slows down tremendously if you have DLC characters in your team. If you ever find my very first or a few PBs of this game from back in 2015. That black screen, before I realized it was the DLC characters, lasts 20 seconds. Alright, so now after we're on our way to fight Mr. Bad Part 2. And we're going to do this fight a very specific way. This game, and I believe all Victory Engine games, you can do a thing called the Death Cry skip. You know, you beat a boss, they have to say a line, and the fight don't end until the line's said. But if you kill an enemy while they're doing their death cry stops. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Fighting Viper 2. Then there's a bug behind him, so we're going to attack that bug by missing the bug. We're going to attack the bug by missing it, but we still did the death cry. Still slightly faster. But you saw how he was talking, and then we just said, shut up. And he shut up. So, one of these fights is over with. But before we go to any other country, we got to go back to Neptunia. We go to the Basilicom. Got to watch this cutscenes where the kids attack and beat the crap out of Abnus. Because he's trying to get them, all the kids to go with her and be free. But they're like, hell no, we won't go. And then she gets the crap beat out of her. This cutscene's forced, but we have to watch this cutscene to get our very first good end item. Which is also a true end item, because it's also required for true end. This is Nep's Pudding. Then we gotta go talk to Pishi and get Compa's Syringe. Because Compa's trying to give Pishi a shot to feel better, and instead it's making her cry. And now we gotta get IF's notebook. Oh, we're done with that. There's no other good end items or anything to do, so we just do the rest of the chapter normally. I like to do Louis next, so when I get from last station to Neptune, it is a straight shot, holding left a tiny little bit. Now on this one, we get to fight copy-paste a third time. He won't die in one shot. I don't think. Yeah, my memory is still kind of fuzzy. We'll try for the one shot, but I don't think he will die. I think we'll have to do a Neptune slash. Unfortunate squirrel location. That can happen, but dang, it's a less than a 10% chance. Same thing when we go back to a dungeon that looks like this exact same setup near the end, where there's a sunflower that can be in the way. We're gonna see if my memory's correct. Do you die in one shot? Nope. He always lives with just barely anything. So it'd be faster to Fighting Viper 1 because Fighting Viper 2 does knockback, and knockback loses time. It's a very overpowered skill, but it loses time. So if you can two-shot it with other skills, then use those other skills. Alright, we're done with that. Now we're in last station, where we're going to be introduced to a new Seven Sages character. Which also give us a Chapter 5 tutorial box. Because, yeah, why not have a tutorial halfway through the game at this point? Or if you're normal in, 5/8 of the way through the game. Alright, these enemies have the eyes of a tiny little animal, but this guy can see you from halfway across the world. Alright, so in this tutorial, there's going to be two bits. One that negates our skills, one that negates our items. We want the skills to be within reach of Iris Heart. And we also want it to die in one combo. Both of which has a chance of not happening. So fingers crossed, because it will save a lot of time if we can get it to die in one combo. But there's also a chance that it can be out of reach and we can't do it. I have to beat the item jammer. We can't use any skills, as you can probably tell by the name of the skill jammer. We got the worst RNG. Can you die? Yeah. Sadly, we don't get no skip on his death cry. But oh well. He gave us a really quick death cry. Alright, this is over. We gotta go back to Neptune. Anyone who has seen runs of this in the past from me, past marathons when I did with DLC, this will be normally where we have everyone's favorite section, and I misclicked there. Normally this will be where we do Pluteus Slippers %. all Victory Engine games load faster, even on PC, if you only have one party member. So it's especially helpful on PS3 if we remove every party member and have Plutia as our only character. That saves a lot of time with DLC. But without DLC, we're a lot weaker than with. So we have to keep all of our teammates. It is faster to lose time from lag than it is to remove all of the teammates not having 4 turns. But to keep the spirit of it, we'll still have Plutia slippers %. Enjoy the sounds of her slippers. And post any Plutia emotes if you have any. Alright, this is a scene where Pikachu literally falls in love with Child Compa. We'll ignore this scene. Alright, if you know what's coming, prepare those terrified, iffy emotes. And get ready to post them when the CG pops up. If you know, you know. We're about to fight Lord Momus. I mean, R4 Mark II. Well, technically this ain't Momus, but it is a version of R4. The deity of sin. From Mark II, Rebirth 2. Oh, no, it is Momus. I remembered wrong. Confuse that with the fight from the end of the last chapter. Alright, everybody. Iris Heart's about to teach R4 who's boss, and she does it right in front of Child Iffy, and now Iffy's about to get scarred for life. Yep, she's scarred for life, guys. Time for your Terra feats. Alright, this whole time, by the way, I forgot to mention that Peachy got kidnapped. And we meet up back with her, but not after, while she was kidnapped. She runs into one of those CPU crystals, the items that turn them into a CPU. Like, it doesn't tell us directly, but you can really guess that's what happened at the end of the last cutscene. So, it leaves us wondering, oh? What? Huh? Alright. Start of chapter 6. God dang it, Raph. Start of chapter 6. We got 2 more good hidden items to get. We'll be getting those right in a row again. We're getting the stuffed animal and drawing. The final items we need for the good end. And this chapter also features the last 2 of the RNG quests in the game. Go ahead and get your guesses in, yet again, if you want to, for to try and win another Grats from me. Up to 2 Grats. Will we get 2 or 3 encounters on the cats? And will we get 3, 4, or 5 encounters on the ghosts? that's it. This is one of the 2 quests that has the highest % chance of the best RNG. We want to see 3 on the first fight. That guarantees perfect RNG. Alright, we have perfect RNG. Yeah, I know we gotta go back to the Basilicom, then we gotta go back to the Basilicom again, and then we get the cats. I mean, the ghosts quest. Which will be 3, 4, or 5. But we need 5 male ghosts, 5 female ghosts. This is the part of the story where Pishi has a father, air quotes, figure appear and take her away. And after she gets taken, she gets some kind of stuff. Like, she is forced to take some kind of stuff that makes her lose her memory. Get replaced with a fake memory. Hey, oh my god. My mind's on fire. Right, so we're basically just going to spam this ghost here. We hope to see 3 and 2. Or 1 and 2. Alright, 2 males, 1 female. We're off to not the best start. 3 males, 2 females. We're on the start to the worst RNG. We'll get perfect RNG if it gives us 3 females, 2 males, though. That can happen. Wait, no, we can only give 2 of each. So, yeah, we're guaranteed 4 counters. So if you guessed middle RNG... Alright, so we had 2 middle RNGs, 2 best RNGs, and 1 worst RNG. That's about as average as you can get. So from here on out, it's just remembering where to go. But we have to go to Louis. Metroid Shelter. So we're actually looking for who took Pishi. If I remember correctly on the story along the way here, we found out that it probably wasn't her real dad. Shocker. We're going to come up to another Mr. Bad fight where we're going to try and do a Death Cry skip. I didn't practice or try to relearn this, so let's see if I can just get it off of memory. Gotta kill the bugs and Mr. Bad in a certain way to where we have 1 bug left after Bad is gone. Oh, I did it wrong. Well, it don't matter.
余計な指図は
Can I kill you? No.
さて
Oh well. Blonde got some of the spotlight, even though she, if I did it right, Blonde's never used ever. What I did was I attacked the bug in the back first instead of the bug in the front left. That was a mistake. Alright, now we're about to be introduced to a new foe. We're not supposed to know who she is yet, but she has the best battle theme of this entire game, and one of the best in all of Neptunia. Oh yeah, and we get another character falling from the sky, Lenio Noir. Little cutscene here. Chat, you might want to hold your old mamas for until you learn who this character actually is. This theme is so good, but we only get to hear it for a few seconds. Sad.
さてどうしよ
And it's over. Missed the new game start. It's alright, at least you made it before the end. We still got 4 more chapters. Now we get a lot of back and forth cutscenes here. To make it take forever to get to the in-between chapters. Alright, so we have an enemy we can't beat. By the way, we didn't beat her. The game just tricked us. She has unlimited power. How does this new Yellow Heart character have unlimited power? We don't know, so we're in hiding. We don't want the whole world to get completely wrecked. Although it is starting to become that way, because she has declared war on all countries. So we're just here, we're doing menial tasks until basically the plot continues. We're doing this quest here. We're forced to do this quest. But from a surprising turn of events, we're not forced to turn this quest in. We really only do it for the plot convenience, to activate that R4 cutscene, and to watch the cutscene after we've finished beating it. But there is absolutely no reason for us to turn it in.
あなたは私の手で倒す
Melt! Melt, I say! Right, basically from my memory, I think IF gets kidnapped. Again. Because being scarred as a kid definitely wasn't enough. Where's that in chapter? That might be chapter 9. I can't remember if she gets kidnapped twice or 3 times. We're about to find out. But before we learn, we have to go and fight another enemy. This one actually takes a couple of hits. Didn't have to do that symbol attack, but I wanted to. Alright, so we're gonna back attack, stress release, back attack, top skill. That's almost a guaranteed 2-shot. That's our first side character to not die in 1 shot. Actually, our very first quest. Right, I am correct. She gets kidnapped here. I knew she gets kidnapped 3 times. Poor IF. At this point, everyone's just getting tired of the 7 sages doing their stuff. So, especially Iris Heart. Especially at the end of chapter 5. No, chapter 6. Iris Heart thought she snapped some sense into R4, but then this happens. So R4 or Iris Heart's about ready to throw down worse than normal. If killing was allowed in the Neptunia universe, on the good parts of the stories, we don't talk about the 2 endings that actually do kill. Then I can see Irish Heart being the one to do it. Anyway, this cutscene, R4 is still scared. She may have kidnapped IF, but she's still scared. Pirachu steps up to the plate. You know what? I'll defend my friend. But he's scared to death, so he goes up defending like, I'm just one mouse. They're 4 goddesses. They ain't gonna fight me, right? So he steps up and they're like, hey, we're gonna fight you. And he's like, shit. That didn't work too well. Pirachu is the only character, maybe? I think it is either just him or it's him and Final Ray and Truan that are faster than your characters can be with no DLC. His agility stat is a whopping 1111 in Neptunia Victory. But only with one very specific setup we can do with Iris Heart that we have currently with their equips. Do we get one character to outspeed Pirachu? And I believe our agility stat is just slightly above that. Like, just very, very slightly above that. Probably less than 10 if my memory serves right. Even at level 99 DLC items. Which is kind of bad because agility also kind of helps with whether you land your shots or not. New game wise, Pirachu is not the funnest boss to fight. His RNG also is just attack. Basically whoever hugs him. Like, literally, you have to be standing face to face, close enough to kiss him. You want him to attack you. So you manipulate him that way. Up until the halfway point, like every other enemy in the game, at the halfway point there, RNG becomes random, you can't predict it. But anywho, I've been rambling on about Pirachu. We went back to a Nanny Death's base that we finally discovered thanks to Pirachu and R4 tattling on him. And this is where we're also going to fight Yellowheart 2, which as we get to hear her theme again for just a few seconds.
めえなんかに好き勝手させてたまるかよ。やっと私の番ね。
He has no death cry on the first two fights. Because at this point she's overpowered. But now we learned that Yellowheart is peachy. So for all you guys who was like, ooh, mama. Remember, she's 5. We almost had her to remember her real memories there, thanks to plot device, but they leave before it happens, so it gets pushed to the next chapter. One of the shortest chapters in the game. Tied with around chapter 10. We really just go to one dungeon and do 2 fights here. This is also the chapter where we find out if we had all the good end items. You will know right away once we enter the final dungeon of this chapter. Yeah. How you can tell if you have all the good end items or if you missed a good end item along the way depends on this cutscene marker. If it's there, then you got the good end. And or true end if you're also going for that. But we don't know if you have true end yet. But it definitely helps to let you know you have good end. Because you normally don't do this fight. This on normal end. Need to be careful with our use of SP here. Yeah, whatever he said. Now we get a really, really long cutscene. Separated into 2 different cutscenes in a row. Basically making Mr. Bad realize all of his wrongdoings. Now we're a straight shot to the end here. Well, that channel name for that bot was couldn't have been more obvious, could it? Alright, now this is the final fight with Yellowheart. We're about to get her back on our team. This fight is very laggy for some reason. The laggiest fight in the game. Well, between this one and a fight in Chapter 9 that we'll be seeing later. This one lags for a whole lot of no reason. This guy takes 3 hits! Just like Mr. Bad. We're finally into 3-hit territory. Alright, now we get a prolonged cutscene. Now that we're on good end. Normally this cutscene is just a few seconds. We go to the last CG and credits start, but we have all 5 of the good end items to help get Peachy's memory back. So we slowly show her all 5 items, and by the end of the cutscene, she's like, Neptunia! And we get a hug. Very good, very sweet CG. Alright, Chapter 9. I may or may not get lost a few times here, because it's been a while, but we will see. Basically, all the 7 sages have been defeated, reformed, or done to do something else, so on and so forth. And now the leader, Ray, is just reminiscing. Everybody's together, they're plotting like how to get the world back to normal. The kids are in the background, and yes, I put Plutia and Neptune as part of the kids. We try to leave, and Plutia's like, don't forget, I'm strong, guys. And we would use her if we needed more than 3 people. Alright, I believe we go to this first. Alright, you guys might see the question mark in the top left. That's a true end event where IF gets kidnapped again. That will be the 3rd time I was talking about if I was doing true end. If you've seen the anime, then you know exactly what that true end CG is. Very silly. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't gotten true end or watched the anime yet, though. We'll just go on with everything from this end. But we're about to meet another purple heart. Oh, but she has different colored eyes. Well, the ray of this world has been taken over by that mist that the ray of the Hyperdimension was. And her powers include making clones. Because of course they do. Alright, now that that's over with, I either do one more quest or I go to the last station. I can't remember. We'll find out. Alright, looks like we go straight to the station. And then we go to Lean Box. Not Lean Box, we go to Eden, which was Yellowheart's country that was created after she became a CPU. How we know to go there is basically everybody in this Basilicon tells us. They're all in Station's Basilicon because they're hiding. from how crazy Ray has become. She become cray too. Alright, right away we're going to be fighting 3 clone CPUs. We're going to try to kill them all in 3 hits. For the first time, we're going to use Old Stinker. Then that. Oh, it's at the bottom. At Ranger's Summon is in a different spot in Neptune's skill list based on if she's Neptune or Purple Heart. And even to this day, sometimes it confuses me. Alright, I'm going to do a little safety strat here, based on how good RNG I get on the... Oh, I don't have any. Wait, no, I do. I saw some. Based on how bad the RNG of these next clones get, you can run out of SP really quick. We're about to fight 4 clones of Blackheart. And these things eat your SP for breakfast. Especially if they separate. We don't want them to separate. So we won't be attacking them from the back unless we can get the back to move forward. We attack them from the... It's weird, but we'll just try and do it this way. Like that. We didn't get them together, but it should still be fine. Neptune is the weakest here. Unfortunately. I mean, what else is new, to be honest? Oh, is that close enough? Ow, fart. I didn't attack both of them because they're gone. Oh, they're too far apart. I lied, they're not gone. We had really bad RNG. This was about as bad as you can get. They weren't together close enough for Noir to hit them both a single time. And I'm too rusty to remember the manipulation. And even with manipulation, it still doesn't work perfectly. Because who they target's random. By that time, they attack because they're halfway dead. And based on who they target, they can separate. So it's just a really bad fight. And it's very laggy too. That was the fight I was talking about for Chapter 9. That rivals Yellowheart 3 in lagginess. Now another decently long cutscene, but not as long as the one that's at the start of Chapter 10. This is basically Ray yapping, yada yada yada, you made it. Typical final boss type spiel. Also, I didn't look at my HP. Neptune can get damaged a lot because I wasn't paying attention who they were attacking. Blackhearts. Neptune and my PB actually halfway died to the Blackhearts. Which means she could die to Ray, but I got lucky she didn't. Even with level 99 characters and best weapons in the game and armor, you can still die to these guys in Chapter 9 and 10. Oh, none of my characters got damaged. They had really good luck. First boss to take more than 3 hits. Takes 4. She can also skill lock you where you can't skill. Thankfully, she didn't. Or if she did, I think she attacked one of the characters that doesn't get a second turn. So we're still good. Alright, we're in the end game, boys. Another really short chapter with 90% cutscene. This cutscene is just ridiculously long for no reason. It's showing the inside joke of how Rei is a bad drawer. She doesn't know how to draw pictures, as we saw. Then we're going to get another cutscene where we have to skip a square, and then we're going to get some more of this type of cutscene. And then we can finally move our cursor. Alright, so basically after this, we gotta go to the Basilicom, get a cutscene to have all the CPUs join us, remove an item from Noir, because that's important. We're going to want to equip that to another character later, when we get back to the Hyperdimension. We're about to get back to the Hyperdimension, because it's the Hyperdimension's version of Rei that is also about to destroy this dimension. Right, now we go back to the Basilicom, talk to Histoire. She sets up a portal. We're all supposed to go back. But then Plutia's like, nah, fam, I can't be away from you, Neptune. And pretty much steals Nepgear's spot. Meaning, Nepgear's stuck in the Ultra Dimension. Can you really call this a good ending? A lot of people don't. Because Neptune has a new sister now, and her name is Plutia. If this was a true ending, we have to go to the Basilicom for a cutscene. The cutscene adds nothing, but we are forced to go to it if we were on true end. But we don't have to do it on good end. Just go straight to the final dungeon. Also, get ready to hear one of the best Final Dungeon themes, in my opinion. Medusa is really good. This is like the only time it's ever used for a Final Dungeon theme. Every other time this shows up in the future games, it's in just a random dungeon. Alright, now we are going to equip you with your stuff. You get Noir outfitting. We're going to remove Rom. Outfitting this Uni gets a Noir's item. But basically the cutscene while entering here is we're gonna show you guys how crazy Plutia is, so you're not surprised from it later. So they legit have Plutia transform into Iris Heart and scar Rom, Ram, and Uni. They didn't have to, but they did. That guy's always there in front of the staircase. It's really dumb. It's not RNG, it's set in stone. Now we just have to perfectly dodge these guys and get to the cutscene marker. Time is within a minute, minute and a half or less. I forget. I'll just say the word when it's time to say the word. Final hit on Rei. This girl takes a few hits, especially since one of our powerful characters, Noir, is gone and we're replaced with someone called Uni. who doesn't really have a powerful skill.
私の番ね。
We'll count the hits. 1,
一発で終わら
2.
せる。
I can't aim. 3,
一発で終わらせる。
4,
死にたい。さて、どうしてあげよう。私の番ね。
5. And time. 6
なんで
hits.
私が。
Venus Mega Mix. Dun, dun. Alright, as I close this game and reopen it to play the opening theme, I always like to preface this by saying, I hope y'all enjoyed this run. Victory means so much to me. Sure, it's a very poorly balanced game. I started with vanilla, but Victory is really the game that got me like into the Neptunia game, whole scene as a whole. It started my love for speedrunning this series, and without it, I might not have gotten into the series when I did, and I would not have been part of this amazing community. I've been speedrunning Neptunia since December of 2014. I'm about to hit 10 years. It's insanely crazy. And to see it grow this much, and all of you awesome viewers, thank you for being here for it. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the marathon. We will end on the opening theme before going to the next game. There's still a lot more marathon left. I made it sound like it's over after this, but it's not over. Not even close.
Nah, you said it was over. It's over, guys. Everyone, pack your bags. It's is over. Take your blankets. Make sure you clean after yourselves.
Rip. They said Virtual Star. They predicted Virtual Stars before Virtual Stars came out. Alright, that is it for me, everybody. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed. The next run is Virtual Stars with Mugen. I hope you enjoy his run. The next time you'll see me, well, we'll be in the chat. But I will be Sunday morning Eastern time at around midnight to 1 a.m.